This is ABC15 Mornings.
The governor lifting the ban on capacity restrictions, while you shouldn't expect much to change the next time you go out to eat, however.
And get tested for COVID at home. The new test authorized by the FDA that can give you results in just 20 minutes.
And keeping your kids busy while they're out of school, the free virtual spring break activities for students. I don't know about a virtual spring break. That doesn't sound like much fun, but I guess you got to do it. Got to do what you got to do in these times.
Absolutely, you got to do what you got to do. We have to be innovative as we say good morning to you. It is 6 o'clock on your Sunday. I'm Megan Thompson. Mark Thompson, it is so good to see you. And Mark, we've been texting because I know that we have to social distance from one another. But can we just acknowledge the fact for the last 2 days, you and I have matched without talking about it ahead of time?
That's right. We even ran an experiment. I said, I already know what I'm wearing tomorrow. This was Saturday. I said, don't tell me what you're wearing. And so we'll see if we just happen to, right there, pick the same thing. And I am in pink as well as you. Exactly.
It's the
it's
Thompson
a thing.
name.
News anchors do that a lot.
And it's the Thompson name, I would have to say. Yeah. Hey, let's give you a look at that most accurate forecast now on your Sunday morning. Hopefully starting it with a smile like Mark and I. Right now in the valley, 60 degrees. In Phoenix Mesa, 61 for you. Glendale, 56, and Goodyear 51 for you at this hour. So really a nice start to the day if you want to get out early. Our temperatures, they are going to warm up. So here's your valley planner to track all of it. 60 degrees by around 8 a.m. and then the 70s come our way by 10 a.m. The 80s already coming in by noon. Very similar to what we saw yesterday, but even warmer today. 88 degrees. That puts us about 13 degrees above average for this time of year because of a ridge of high pressure. So technically we are on record watch, given we're just a few degrees away from that record high of 91 set back in 1972. So if the 80s are what you like, here's what we have today, but some changes coming in that 7-day forecast. I'll break all of that down ahead.
All right, Megan, thank you. And we want to start off with some breaking news this morning. 3 people injured after an overnight crash in Peoria. That accident happened just before 3 a.m. at 83rd Avenue and Cactus Road. Police tell us that 3 vehicles were involved in this one. All 3 patients were transported to the hospital. 2 of them had life-threatening injuries. The other is expected to be okay. This is an open investigation right now. Therefore, traffic in that area is being diverted. It's also unknown at this time if impairment was a factor. Also happening overnight, Glendale police investigating an armed robbery at a gas station. This happened around 2:30 a.m. Police received reports of a black pickup truck fleeing from a Circle K. That's on the corner of North 47th Avenue and Bethany Home Road. We reached out to police for more information on a possible suspect. No injuries to report at this time.
The latest COVID numbers in our state. Arizona reporting more than 1,700 new cases on Saturday, bringing the state's total to more than 825,000. The state also reporting another 54 deaths. Also this weekend alone, more than 55,000 more coronavirus vaccines have been administered here in Arizona. So as COVID cases trend down and vaccines trend up, the governor lifting the ban on the number of people allowed in restaurants, bowling alleys, bars, movie theaters, and water parks. However, when it comes to restaurants, ABC 15's Adam Waltz reports not much will change.
For months, restaurants have been operating at 50% and even 25% capacity. Not anymore. But even with Governor Doug Ducey lifting that restriction, we need to pump the brakes on the idea of a packed restaurant, at least for now.
There's no way I could do 100%.
Governor Doug Ducey's executive order Friday removes all customer occupancy limitations on restaurants, meaning they can now fill up like it's 2019, except
you still need that extra space to make sure you're doing the social distancing that's required.
So although the ban is lifted, social distancing naturally limits the number of people a restaurant can hold.
With the restrictions of the distancing 6 feet, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity for 100% capacity.
Arizona Restaurant Association President Steve Chukri loves the move from Governor Ducey, saying, quote, Friday's order to lift occupancy restrictions will help Arizona's restaurant sector thrive while maintaining community safety through mitigation measures. Yet again, much like when COVID precautions were first implemented, each restaurant determines its own way of staying safe while serving more people. At Little O's and Barrio Cafe in Phoenix, they're playing it safe with spaced out indoor seating and plexiglass dividers. At Little O's,
Still like the fear factor that people have and just safety. We didn't want to like all of a sudden be like, bam, free for all.
and staying away from full capacity at Barrio Cafe.
Even if I could, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be ethically right. The right thing to do is put people in danger.
Also in his executive order, Doug Ducey blocks local mayors and local jurisdictions from issuing, quote, extreme orders that would shut down businesses. In Phoenix, Adam Waltz, ABC15, Arizona.
Adam, thank you. The FDA now giving emergency use authorization for an at-home COVID test. It's the first molecular product to get the green light for non-prescription use. The Q Health test can quickly detect genetic material from the coronavirus in the nostrils. Adults can take their own nose swab. Children 2 years of age or older can also be swabbed with the help from an adult. The tests can be read in about 20 minutes. Spring break is just around the corner for many families, which usually means it's vacation time. But ABC 15 data guru Garrett Archer says people are already out now more than the entire pandemic. So if spring break further boosts mobility and that in turn affects case numbers, we'll see it in a matter of days.
If something were to happen, we would see an increase in cases within about 7 to 14 days. We would be able to detect a trend. Again, if it happens, the mobility, we wouldn't be able to ascribe mobility to that trend for at least another 5 days after that.
So what's on our side? 20% of American adults have received at least their first dose of the vaccine, but we will have to wait and see if spring break will bring an increase in cases.
And another question that you may have is once you've gotten your vaccine and you decide to travel, could you give off a false positive? Now, as we know, new federal rules require air travelers, even Americans returning home, to test negative for COVID or show documentation that you have recovered from the virus.
That has been a confusing point for people because some people have heard that people get vaccinated and then they test positive for COVID. The reason they test positive for COVID is because they have COVID.
Dr. Ross Goldberg, president of the Arizona Medical Association, says that all of the vaccines work by building antibodies to the spike protein on the coronavirus. So if you've had the vaccine, an antibody test will come back positive, but PCR and antigen tests will not. The vaccines do not contain live virus. In fact, they say they don't have coronavirus in them at all.
Well, new this morning, Arizona will now accept consular identification cards as legal forms of identification. The state law previously outlawed the use of the cards as a valid form of identification in 2011. The changes apply only to consular ID cards that use biometric features such as retina scans or fingerprints. It is expected to mostly benefit immigrants in Arizona without access to any other types of state or federal identification.
And looking ahead, the Phoenix City Council, they're having a runoff election. That's because voters in Council Districts 3 and 7 need to elect a new council member. This all comes after there was no winner in the elections back in November. Now the candidates with the most votes Tuesday will take office for a 4-year term beginning in April. The final election results are expected by March 17th.
Well, starting tomorrow, the Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department is offering free virtual spring training activities for kids. 2 hours of activities will be offered each weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. They will have everything from arts and crafts to sports to computer coding. It's for students ages 6 to 13. For more information, just head to phoenix.gov.
Next Saturday, Phoenix St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's going to be virtual from noon to 8 p.m. There will be live performances from some of Arizona's favorite Irish bands and much, much more. For more information, go to stpatricksday.org. phoenix.org, or Google it if you didn't get that correctly from me. Now, NASCAR returns to the Valley next week, and the Phoenix Raceway will welcome a reduced amount of fans from March 12th to March 14th. The campgrounds start opening up tomorrow. And next weekend, Hurricane Harbor, Phoenix, it's reopening. If you had season passes and had pre-purchased tickets for last year, they've been extended for the 2021 season. Tickets are about $30 for a one-day pass. Hurricane Harbor, Phoenix reopens Saturday, March 13th. Big fun.
Well, I would say, too, we have pool weather in the forecast with these high temperatures, this warmer weather from a ridge of high pressure. So the pool actually may seem really appealing today. As we take a look at that most accurate forecast for your Valley activity planner, we can add the pool on there, right? Running, hiking, and biking. I'm going to give you the green light. I would just suggest that you do it early. Right now, we're in the 60s in Phoenix, 50s in Chandler, Glendale, and Goodyear, 61 for you in the East Valley in Mesa. So we are on record watch today because we're looking at a high of 88 degrees in the Valley. The record high 91 set back in 1972. So we're going to talk more about some cool downs coming our way in that 7-day forecast ahead.
Megan, thank you. More than 165,000 chickens killed after a barn fire at a local ranch. New photos from the first responders who were on scene, plus what we know now about the cause of that fire. And did you have to cancel a trip because of the pandemic? Tips for not losing the credit that you are owed, that's coming up.
Watch ABC15 Arizona on your schedule. Stream the latest news and weather by searching ABC15 on Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV.
And as we continue to see higher temperatures in the valley, it means that more people and critters, they're going to be out on the hiking trails. Animal experts, they were reminding you to watch your step on the trails because you might see snakes. And they say that bites, they are rare and can often be avoided if you take the right precautions. Now, leave them alone. That's the main thing. But if you see one in an unsafe place, you're urged to call your fire department's non-emergency number or a pest control service because you don't want them around like in your house, you know, something like that, Megan.
That just gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know, just to see it. But a really good reminder this morning, especially as I'm tracking in your most accurate forecast, some warm changes on the way. So let's talk about that hiking forecast if you are going to be out on the trails. By sunrise around 6:48 this morning, we'll be in the 50s. Then some cloud cover is going to start to move in. That's why you see that here in the afternoon and early evening hours. So by midday, 80 degrees, your burn time is 30 minutes despite that cloud cover. 87 around sunset, which is 6:30 tonight. Today, the high 88 degrees in the valley, which is about 13 degrees above average for this time of year. The record 91 set back in 1972. A ridge of high pressure sitting over our state has warmed our temperatures over the last few days. And as we look across the state, here's what we can expect for highs today. Along the rim, 70s in Sedona, 60s in Payson, 70s in Globe, 80s to the west along the Colorado River Valley, 60s there to the north in spots like the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff, Heber and Show Low and Window Rock also seeing the 60s for a high. Into those overnight and early morning hours tomorrow, it'll be a nice start to the day in the valley. The 60s for you when you wake up. 50s in Sedona, 40s in Payson and Winslow, Heber, 30s in Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon, in the 50s to the west. Let's take a look at Futurecast to show you what we can expect over the next several days with a cool down coming. Clouds are going to move in today and tomorrow as we wait the arrival of this storm system moving in from the west. We're tracking it Wednesday into Thursday morning where we see some activity to the northern portion of our state. And this is actually going to sit around for quite some time, this system, over the next several days in that 7-day forecast in the high country and along the rim. So it looks more likely that the north part of our state is going to see more action than us here in the valley when it comes to our rain chances. We are going to keep tabs on the models to see if they update as we get closer. So today in that 7-day forecast, 88 degrees. You'll wake up tomorrow morning in the 60s. To start your work week, breezes come back into the valley, 83 degrees. So we're dropping temperatures in that 7-day forecast, getting into the 70s by Tuesday, low 70s there on Wednesday before the 60s make a return. So we have the 80s, the 70s, in the 60s in our 7-day forecast. And those storm chances Thursday and Friday, a 10% shot. 72 is what we're looking at come next weekend.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Well, a lot of people had to cancel trips because of the pandemic, and now you have some credits that you are owed because you could not travel. ABC 15's Joe Ducey now looking into what you can do to make sure that you actually do get the credit you are owed.
A 10-day Caribbean cruise taking in San Juan, St. Lucia, and more. A vacation of a lifetime for many. And Joseph Jones couldn't wait for his April trip until he was forced to.
All sailings through April, end of April, were canceled. So we knew our cruise was canceled.
Because of COVID concerns, Royal Caribbean suspended all sailings through April of this year. To be safe, Joseph rebooked the cruise to May of next year so he could travel with others. So his problem is not with the cruise line. It's with the airline trying to rebook a flight he had to cancel. Many travelers are stuck right now trying to use credits before they expire. While some airlines have extended expiration dates, it can be complicated and ever-changing. Delta has extended many credits through December 2022, but there are exceptions. Southwest did allow unused funds to be converted to points that don't expire, but that's ended. Joseph booked his Fort Lauderdale flights through American Airlines.
I was telling American Airlines, I don't want a refund. I want a voucher.
He'd use it for his new cruise dates.
That person told me all they could do is issue me a future credit, which had to be used by September of 2021. If we didn't use it, then we'd lose it.
But since his cruise is in May of 2022, that wouldn't work. We went to American Airlines. In an email, they say customers who canceled tickets purchased by September 30th, 2020 for travel between March 2020 and 2021 can use the value later. While Joseph wouldn't qualify, they are reaching out to discuss the situation, saying we work with our customers to provide flexibility during this pandemic. So Joseph has some hope.
A year from now, same time period, but a year later, it will work for everyone.
I'm glad Americans taking another look at Joseph's situation. Right now, airlines only have to refund money if they cancel the flights. But if you're in a similar situation, whichever travel provider, contact them because policies are more flexible right now because of COVID. And if there's still an issue, dispute it with your credit card company. Go to abc15.com/letjoe know for all the ways to protect your money. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. You got a problem? Let me know.
A place for foster families to go to get support or to just have fun, from school tutoring to equine therapy and everything in between. Jacob's Mission Community Center is now open in Mesa, but with the pandemic, they need the help of volunteers to safely support their mission of helping families to succeed in the foster care system. So joining us to talk about how you can take action and volunteer your time is Anika Robinson, the president of ASA Now. And Anika and I spent some time together when the community center was just a construction zone. Can you tell us where we're at now and, of course, the special reason behind the name Jacob's Mission?
Absolutely. So prior to opening, we had been utilizing rented space to be able to serve the children in foster care. And it took us 18 months to renovate this space in about 3 acres is what we have. And it has just been amazing to see the transformation, not only in the building, but the transformation in the children's lives. So children come for after school tutoring, they come for cooking classes, karate, dance, art, piano, guitar, musical theater. They come for life skill classes for those youth who are going to be aging out. And Jacob's Mission Community Center was chosen because one of our co-founders' son's name is Jacob. And we named the law after him, Jacob's Law, to add additional protections and rights for foster children. But he was one of those foster children that fell through the cracks. He was not able to obtain timely behavioral health services. And in honor of him and the amazing community that has stepped up to really make a difference in the lives of foster children, we really felt like that would be a suitable name.
Anika, what kind of services do you offer families when they enter the center?
So for anyone receiving a brand new placement, they're able to submit a form. We're able to fill that, whether it's clothing, diapers, wipes, formula, whatever that need may be, including food. And we're able to serve them 24/7. In addition to that, we offer families workshops and support groups and retreats and anything and everything that is there so that we can contain that family and help them with the resources and the help that they need to care for a most vulnerable population.
And you mentioned it too, slipping through the cracks. That's something you do not want to continue to happen. Can you explain to our viewers how a place like this hopefully helps to stop that from happening as often as it does?
So our hope is that by being able to help them with that education, they're not going to fall in. They're not going to be one of those statistics where it says that 2 out of 3 children in foster care either are homeless, in jail, or dead within 2 years of aging out of the system. So we're really ensuring that they have housing, that they have a job, that they have enrolled in college or a vocational school. So we like to just follow them from the time they walk in all the way until they're successful adults.
So you guys need volunteers to keep all of this going. Can you walk me through who you're looking for and what these volunteers will be put to work doing at the community center?
We actually ended up serving 11,000 kiddos this past year in 2020. So the needs aren't just immense. So a community member could come in and fill those immediate needs orders. They could fill with the pantry, so those emergency food boxes. They could come in and help with tutoring, with art, any of our extracurricular activities. They could help out with our life skills. They could help out with a project that we have. So we want to develop our equine center. We want to have a healing garden. We're always asked, like, are you funded by the state? No, we're not. We're funded by our community and our community of donors and our community volunteers who step up. Last year, we provided over $400,000 worth of items to those families and children that we serve, which is just incredible. But we want to do a fundraiser so that we can finish our healing garden and our equine center. For anyone who donates, they'll be eligible to have a paver with their name as well as any inscription that they want, and those will be laid at that healing garden that we're going to be creating. So it'll be a donor's block, which is just amazing.
We are going to make sure to put all of that information in this story on ABC15.com. Anika Robinson with ASA Now, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you are a busy woman, and we thank you for what you're doing for foster families here in the community.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
6:26 now. Coming up tomorrow, the man accused of killing George Floyd will be in court. How Minneapolis plans to keep everyone safe. Plus, as it becomes harder and harder to find affordable housing in the valley, why low-income families, they're not expected to see any relief, unfortunately, anytime soon.